9, the Te Puna Monga Authority Operational Plan. Could I ask Dominic Wilson, please, Head of Co-Governance, to come to the table to talk to the paper? But just to get on record, could I ask Councillor Filipaina to move that the operational plan be included in the LTP, and seconded by Councillor Casey? It's been moved and seconded. Dominic.
Morena tātou.
Morena.
Yes, the operational plan and the summary have been before your councillors a number of times. Of course, it had to be drafted early and was included in the consultation documents that went out early in the year, and so as a consequence it was before you at the end of last year and then a number of times through this year. So there's nothing further to add on in relation to the actual operational plan and the summary itself. I did want to point out that feedback was received, and there were two mechanisms for feedback. The Te Puna Monga Authority had its own process and wrote directly to stakeholders and interested parties and received written submissions back and held an open oral hearing to hear those submissions. And then there was also of course, the council's consultation process, and submissions were received online for that. And that's all summarised in the attachment A before you. And then on 9th of May there was a joint meeting between the Te Puna Monga Authority and the Finance and Performance Committee to hear the feedback, a summary of that feedback. So now before you is the operational plan and the summary, and that has been approved in a meeting 2 weeks ago by the Te Puna Monga Authority. So it is adopted from its end, the documents, and now it's before the governing body to consider. Kia ora tātou.
Kia ora, Dominic. Thank you very much for that. Are there any questions of Dominic? Are there any comments that anybody wants to make on the operational plan? Councillor Filipaina.
Yeah, just short and sweet, as I am, Your Worship. Look, I think the key points for me is that it will support dedicated Maunga management team and also the maintenance program. The other one is on-site staff from year 4 for our Maunga. And, you know, I mean, yesterday I acknowledged the team, Dominic, and tēnā koe te rangatira. I acknowledge it, and I again acknowledge the Te Puna Monga Authority, the members on there, and the staff. So, you know, for me, it's just awesome to see this here. The objectives, again, we mentioned UNESCO as one of the objectives around getting that work done. And it's been talked about here. Others for me is just, again, we spoke about our Te Puna Monga Authority meeting was to enhance the mana and the Māori of our Te Puna Monga. And that's important as well, as one of the objectives. Again, it's around improving the open spaces on our Maunga, on the 8 local boards. You know, so the objectives, if you go through this report, and I know everybody has, that's what I want to achieve. Not I, sorry, but we, not only on the Te Puna Monga Authority, but also collectively around this table. So thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Any other comments? I think it's pretty straightforward. Councillor Fletcher.
Thank you. I want to acknowledge the work that has been undertaken, but I'd also like to acknowledge the staff that led some of the initial work, people like Scott Silver and Justine. There is a huge amount of backstory to what we're seeing here today. So I'm giving it my complete support, but with the caveat of the disappointment over Puki Tāpapa. It is still a very sore point with some in the Christian community that there has been the inability going forward for the cross that was there for some time. So I would I would just like, it would be remiss of me not to draw attention to that. In so many ways, there's been great progress. The removal of vehicles from the manga and allowing that access has been wonderful, but we did it mindful and sensitive to the communities and the inclusion of people with disabilities so that they could have access. And I think as we work through these difficult issues, it's just good to be able to try and be inclusive and take everyone with us. And I think, unfortunately, with Puki Tapapa, there could have been a better way. So with that, I'm happy to support it because I actually think this is going to be wonderful for Tamaki Makaurau, but I would have preferred perhaps a different route, a different path with regards to the Cross and Mount Roskill.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Councillor Cooper.
Just a question through you, Mr Chair. The operational plan says 18-19, but there's references in the report and all through the plan to 10 years and 3 years. So is that correct?
The operational plan is an annual plan, but it does contain, both in the summary and in the main plan, the full 10-year LTP funding budget. So that's the reference to those things. Councillor.
I know. My question is we're adopting an LTP, but we're talking about a 1 year plan here, but with a whole lot of references. So that's where the confusion is for me. I would have really liked, an indication of 10 years out. So we're doing the annual plan at the same time, is that?
That's correct. Under the legislation, every year the annual plan has to be agreed by both the Tupuna Authority and the Auckland Council.
Thank you.
Thank you. On page 29 of the report, it sets out the expenditure over the full 10-year period.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, councillors, I just want to say at the end of this, if we look at this operational plan, there is significant operational expenditure and significant capital expenditure going into our maunga, but our maunga are really the treasures of Auckland as a region, and I think that the investment that we're making there through the co-governance procedures is a recognition of the importance of those mountains to our region as a whole, to our heritage, to our recreational and reserve assets. And I think we are going to see a big transformation in the way the maunga look and the value that they add to our city, to Māoridom and to the whole of the community. So I certainly endorse the report. So we'll put the motion has been moved and seconded. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. I declare that carried. We